Good morning. I'm Seth Jones.
And I'm Carter Bunsold. On today's show, we'll look back on how a historic winter interrupted in-person learning.
Plus, a feature on Carroll's state champion swimmers and more in sports. The Charger Current starts right now.
It's Wednesday, February 25th. Welcome to the Charger Current.
Our top story, though it seems pretty far away now, this January was definitely not one to forget.
With the winter seemingly like it would never let up, Carroll had to adapt.
So how did our school deal with the record-breaking weather? Here now is Caroline Schultz with the answer.
Thank you, Carter and Seth. Early this January, there was major talk of a potentially incredibly dangerous storm that would strike a large portion of the Midwest. Commonly referred to now as Winter Storm Fern, this overwhelming winter weather forced many schools all across America to stay at home and continue to pursue their education online. Here at Carroll was no different, as we and many surrounding schools had to take 4 days of synchronous from January 23rd to 26th in dealing with this storm. Schools were not alone in their closing, as various other businesses took to being remote as well. The seriousness of the weather was not to be underestimated, and more on that is Lonnie Fisher from the National Weather Service, explaining some telltale signs for storms like these.
But an interesting fact, if people have never noticed it. So if you look up in Alaska, if Alaska starts warming up in the winter, like, above freezing, or just it's really nice up there, the cold air that they have is coming down here, if not already here.
These can also be referred to as polar vortexes. Now, to the dismay of some, Northwest Allen County and a majority of schools in the United States since COVID-19 have switched to remote online school rather than snow days. The idea behind this is to primarily keep from adding school days to the end of the year and to prevent kids from being held behind academically. But a pre-pandemic world did not quite experience this the same way and would simply cancel school in the case of cold or bad weather. And many students may be wondering if this is still an option. Well, here is Wayne Barker, Superintendent of Northwest Allen County Schools, elaborating more on this question.
It allows for 3 asynchronous learning days where students basically get their assignments and they work on their own. They can email teachers, and then they allow for an unlimited number of synchronous learning days. So we choose synchronous learning. We feel like that's the best option for students.
Generally, the call for snow days or synchronous days that districts have to make is not one called easily, and it is a decision made with obvious hesitation. Despite this, whether you enjoy them or not, snow days are not something that will go away anytime soon, especially after the calamitous climate we had just experienced this past January. As the days are getting longer and the weeks are getting warmer, As the days are getting longer and the weeks are getting warmer, and we inch closer and closer to springtime, the days of synchronous learning are likely far behind us for the rest of the semester. And with that, I'm Caroline Schultz. Thank you for watching the Charger Current, and stay warm, Chargers.
Thanks, Caroline. The girls' swim team went to state last week. Here's Reagan Marks to tell you more about it.
The girls' swim team closed out its season with a second-place finish at the state championship meet. Along the way, 4 swimmers also broke school records, adding to a year filled with major accomplishments. For the swimmers who broke those records, it's a moment they won't forget.
So it was just kind of all of our emotions were high, we were really nervous before. So being able to break the record and get first was just a really cool experience, and it just kind of topped off the meet, because to be under pressure like that and be able to succeed was a cool feeling.
But it wasn't just the individual performances that defined this season. The team's success came from how the swimmers worked together and supported each other.
I think just the bonds that we've been able to form with all of our teammates, even the underclassmen in the past 1 or 2 years, have been so special to us, and they've made us so strong. Each member of our team is best friends with each other, and I think that made us really have the ability to go out and swim our best and have confidence in each other.
But the girls breaking those records and finishing as state runner-ups weren't the only accomplishments this season. Guiding the team through all of it was head coach Ben Sutton, who was named Coach of the Year for the 2nd consecutive season.
I know it's Coach of the Year, but that honestly is a team award. That goes to the other coaches on staff, Coach Sienna, Coach Kaler, Coach Lori, our dive coach, and Coach Alex. I always say we're a family. We do spend so much time together in and out of the water, which I think is really important. But, You know, I know I get the accolades for that, but honestly, I wouldn't be here if the girls weren't doing the training, you know, day in and day out, and the other coaches weren't filling in, you know, where I can't be everywhere with all the kids at all times. So to have that trust in my staff and, you know, for us to, you know, receive that award, that meant the world to me.
Coach also reflected on what made this team so successful.
I knew that they were capable of that, you know, but a lot of times, you know, especially when you get into those high-pressure meets, it's hard to perform at your best when you're kind of feeling the weight of everything. And, you know, I've been, like the girls said, I've been their coach for years and years beyond just high school. So we've tried to put them in different situations and different environments to be able to learn to handle that. And, you know, I felt like all of those years of putting them in those environments really helped them be a little bit more comfortable and be able to perform at their best.
With the trophies already in the case, the girls swim team has both individual accomplishments and team accomplishments to celebrate. For the Charger Current, I'm Reagan Marks.
Thanks, Reagan. Now here's Max Burgett with a dive into sports.
Thanks, guys. Over the weekend, 2 wrestlers went to state finals, Joey Warner and August Adams. They both wrestled Friday night in the preliminary matches, starting off with Joey Warner in the 106-pound weight class. Joey was defeated 7-1 by Bloomington South. August Adams in the 175-pound weight class was defeated 18-10 by Crown Point. Also, on Saturday, the boys swim team competed in sectionals at Southside and placed second as a team. State qualifiers include the 200 medley relay team, the 200 and 400 freestyle relay teams. Individual state qualifiers include James Hench, Jackson Morris, Will Greenlee, and Drew Wetzel. Congratulations to all the Chargers on a successful sectional weekend. Boys basketball played on Friday versus the rival Homestead Spartans. The Chargers came out on top, 48-46. Brody Fisher had 13 points along with 7 rebounds and 2 assists. The boys basketball team learned their sectional opponent on Sunday. Here's a look at the bracket. The Chargers will play Snyder this Friday. Sectional games take place at Northrop on March 6th and 7th. The Chargers beat each of the other 3 sectional teams during the regular season. And the gymnastics team competes Saturday at Concordia in sectionals action. That's all for this week in sports. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Max. And is our school ready for the Korean CSAT?
Carroll's top students and AP Lang teachers took on the challenge of completing one of the hardest exams.
That's available now on the Charger Current YouTube page.
And that's all for our show today. Good luck to juniors taking the SAT next week. Have a wonderful Wednesday, Chargers.